Well, it's a very quiet Sunday, so I thought I'd go for a little drive. Perhaps I'll go to the seaside and have a look. The leaves are disappearing from the trees. Mind you, it's now the 3rd week of November, so what do you expect? It's a nasty little junction here. Right on a bend up this road, here come I can't. So I usually wind down the window so I can have a good listen to see if anything's coming. There was something coming. In the van today, because I'm on standby for work in case an emergency comes in. Turn the camera on. I haven't got a lot to say while I'm driving along. I've got a letter to show you, which is a bit of news. I'll go to Saxmundham Tesco's and buy myself a little picnic, and then we can drive to Aldeburgh, eat it whilst looking at the sea. Got my Olympus camera here, that does film as well. Movies, I suppose. I don't know what to call them these days. Video. Got a zoom lens with me actually, so perhaps we'll zoom in and see if we can pick out anything interesting on the water. Bought myself a little snack. Look at that tree, what a lovely colour. Beautiful. They're just coming into Aldeburgh. Pronounce things very odd, not as odd as they do in Norfolk, where you've got Wyndham, which is spelt Wymondham, Haysborough, which is spelt Happisburgh. You tend to put bruh when you read Berg, but it's not everywhere. The English language is nuts, isn't it? If it's spelt Berg around Suffolk and Norfolk, it's often pronounced bruh. She could do a Barnum bra. Never mind. It's good what you see when you're out and about. Anyway, you're welcome. The Co-op and Tesco Express. When they built Tesco Express in Aldeburgh, a lot of the locals really didn't like it, but they're just so convenient, you know. The hospital's there, it's still running. I thought they'd shut Aldeburgh Hospital, but my dad went there when he had a touch of prostate cancer. He went there for some scans and this, that and the other. A lot of big posh cars around at the weekend here. A lot of weekend houses in Aldeburgh. The house prices around here are absolutely astronomical. There's the church that Benjamin Britten is buried outside of, with Peter Pears, his partner. We come down the hill into Aldeburgh and you can see the sea for the first time. Well, you might not be able to, I don't know quite how we're angled, but I can see the sea. Well, it's very calm. It's not all that bitterly cold. Well, I mean, the North Sea is never warm, but there's a lag. About sort of September, it's getting cold now though, I suppose, sort of September-y, October-y time, the temperature of the sea lags behind that of the outside. I've been for a swim here on Boxing Day and it was bloody cold. Anyway, you just park where you want, mate, that's okay. I've got money. I'm in a Range Rover, so I can park where I want. They're going to pull out, and I'll stop. And will they thank me? No, they don't. What a cunt! It's amazing. I'm starting to get all classist because I'm in old. Right? I've got no problem with people having money, but it's just when you're driving around in what's obviously a works van, the way people treat you is very different to if you're driving around in a Bentley or a Range. You'll never get that in there, will you? I'm going to turn you around a bit so you can see. Tilt you up a bit. Exactly. Fuck me, you ain't going to fit in there. No, I don't know. I don't think I'd have got that. This van. This is a long wheelbase Vivaro, and I've been used to a standard wheelbase. They don't know what they're doing. Standard wheelbase Transit, and this, when I'm backing it up and it doesn't have parking sensors on it, which I do miss, it does feel a long old beast. Are they going to try and get in there, are they? Oh, I'll give them a chance. Yeah, you might get in there. That vehicle isn't that big. Let's be really patient. Just let them do their stuff. Why do people buy these vehicles when they haven't got a fucking clue how to drive them? They're doing alright then. Yeah, she'll get in there now. Better to be cautious than to hit someone, isn't it, I suppose? Give them plenty of time. She's done alright. Perhaps I was being a bit mean. It's a bit narrow here. Why not just raise your hands and thank people who drive in a courteous manner? I'm not the best driver, God's earth, but don't get all angry when I'm driving. That's a nice fish and chip shop, that one there. But the queues are horrendous when they're open. Now if you come into Aldeburgh and you want somewhere free to park that's pretty and you don't mind walking just a little while, just drive all the way through Aldeburgh, just keep going. And you'll come to the bit of Aldeburgh. See there? What gentleman. Thank you, sir. You'll come to this bit near the yacht club. This bit of Aldeburgh is called Slawden, and drive very slow on this little bit here because it looks quite flat, but there's some huge potholes. I'm in a works van and I'm still not going to thrash it. God, they've got a camera set up. Oh, I don't know what they're filming. There are some vicious potholes here. There's a bit of hardcore here, so obviously going to slap a bit down at some point. I think the sky's beautiful this time of year. Anyway, just keep driving along here. And that bit down there is the yacht club. Fucking hell, here we go. Oh shit. And this is the bit called Slawden. And as long as you're not in a great big motorhome or something, you can park up here for free, which is a lovely thing. Some fishermen. And you could just park by the side here. Actually, I'll go up a lot further than I normally do with that, shall I? I normally just stop there. We'll go a bit further. A lot of fishermen about. Milky sky, looks like a Turner painting, doesn't it? possible invasion. I can feel this bottoming out, and this is quite a high wheelbase vehicle, so you don't want to be coming up here in your Ferrari or your Lotus or whatever you're in. I'll just go the other side of the yacht club, and I'll be able to get the Olympus out and zoom in on one or two items of interest. Now, sort of from there on in, and I've walked all the way to Orford along here, this turns into Orford Island, which is over the river from where I live. And it's the longest vegetated, don't quite know what that means, but obviously things are growing on it, I suppose. It's the longest vegetative shingle spit in Europe. Don't know how long it is. It's a good 5 or 6 miles. I know that when Derek, my dear friend, and I parked up here and walked to Orford Lighthouse and back, I think it took us about 13 hours, and a lot of it is on shingle. That was a hell of a trip. Anyway, the light's really nice, so I'll get the Olympus out. I'm going to have to do some editing on this one, because I'm using more than one camera. I'll get the Olympus out and show you one or two things. But that's lovely. That's the River Orr. So it splits Orford over there, the Orford Ness here, for a very long way. So the sea, to get to the sea is a good, I don't know, 3-4 miles from here, up there. And then this goes all the way around that corner and ends up at Snake Maltings, where the concert hall is. There's lots of good shops at Snake Maltings. Little plane in the air. A lovely day. Well, I've had me tuna and sweet corn pasta. I've donned my Hub Nut hoodie. It's beautiful. Beautiful day, lots of people fishing. Take some shots with the old Olympus and stick the telephoto lens on there as well. Have a puff first. If I can get this to work. Bingo! You can even see Southwold right in the distance. There it is, lonely little craft. Anyway, this is Slawden, the end of Aldeburgh. Some people fishing. In the background you've got a Thorpe Ness really, but almost Southwold. Can't quite see Sizewell Power Station, but... and I'm going to lean myself on the bonnet of the van here just to steady the shot a bit. There we go. So as I say, this little bit goes all the way on, becomes Orford Ness Island. It's not a breath of wind today. And on the horizon you can see my home village. This thing will focus. And just there you can see, oh sorry, it's a terrible shot. You can see Orford Church on the left and the castle on the right. Where I live at my parents' house currently, it's just on the right hand side of that castle. So it doesn't look far away from here, but it's a good 25 minutes drive. And there's the Martello Tower. The focus on this is a little bit slow to react, but excuse me. I suppose that must be getting on for a couple of 100 years old. Not sure when the Napoleonic Wars were, mid, what, 1850 was it? Was that what the 1812 overture by Tchaikovsky was written about? I should know more about history really. And that's the North Sea. Looks kind of cold, doesn't it? Sort of over there is the Netherlands. In between us and the Netherlands you've got a substantial wind farm. I can never remember what that one's called. Is it the Great Gabbard Wind Farm? So little contrast, it's really fooling this autofocus. I really ought to learn how to focus it manually and just stick it on infinity for shots like this. There's not much wind today, but they're still spinning round. Even the slightest of hand slip upsets it. Come back out, go back in again. Anyway, sat in the van now because it's easier to keep the camera still. What you can see silhouetted against the background here is the aerials that were on, but still are, on Orford Island, but not in use anymore. And that big grey lump on the left there is what was the control room for Cobra Mist, which was those little set of aerial masts there, which was an over the horizon radar which Marconi and various companies were involved in developing. And I believe I'm correct in saying the taller masts that you can see in the foreground here, they're what transmitted the BBC World Service, which ultimately was also controlled from that big lumpy building there. It had a lot of power, that transmitter. It was, I think it was long wave. No, medium wave, yeah, about 650, is it megahertz or kilohertz? Oh, I should have looked all this up before coming, but I like doing things off the top of my head. But if you sat down the quay in Orford, which is kind of about there, the other side of that lump, I once took an unplugged telephone down the quay and just held the cord out that you'd plug it into the wall with, and you lift the receiver up and you could hear the BBC World Service. That transmitter was so powerful. It served most of Europe and even touched into Russia, I believe. So there you go.